Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So an interesting article in Native News about Palau and Ripple stating they are in talks with Ripple to possibly rename their existing payment protocol into something more general. This is to sidestep legal issues. And guys, this is coming from the Wrath of Kahneman here from Native News Online. Now, let me point out that the Wrath of Kahneman also does say that this is a paid spot. So somebody paid for this article to be written. I assume this is just a way of relating the distinction between RippleNet and the XRPL. Also interesting, it is a paid spot, though the author is not mentioned. Very, very curious, but I think it is worth mentioning here. A lot of this article just kind of summing up the history of Ripple and XRP. The point I wanted to mention here, though, the highlight, is Palau, an early adopter of blockchain technology. To put things into perspective, Palau is one of the few nations that have already taken interest in the nascent technology earlier on. In February of 2018, President Tommy Remengesau Jr. signed 2 bills into law that demonstrated his country's firm commitment towards embracing emerging technologies such as blockchain and cryptocurrencies. The laws were specifically aimed at protecting intellectual property rights while also reducing bureaucracy by allowing businesses to emerge more freely within the country. In June of the same year, the president announced that his government will be accepting cryptocurrency donations for their annual Independence Day celebration. So there's a little history on Palau and how motivated they have been with regards to accepting and basically adopting cryptocurrency. Sorry, the point I wanted to make actually was up here, though. Currently, there are talks within Ripple to possibly rename their existing payment protocol into something more general so that the company could distribute its cryptocurrency without getting into any legal troubles. Now it looks like Palau, a small island in Micronesia with a population of about 21,000 people, have partnered up with Ripple Labs, and even people are searching for how to buy Ripple over the internet. So I guess Palauans, or I think that's what they're called, Palauans or Palawians? No, probably Palauans, realize the benefit of XRP and are looking up how to purchase Ripples or XRPs on the internet. The bigger point here, though, is that Palau looking to partner with Ripple to do this, and they need to change their name, of course, to prevent the legal issues. And so Wrath of Kahneman down here just responding to some of these tweets. Conspira XRP theorist says, I don't think people realize the significance of Palau and Ripple. The last sentence says it all for me. And I view this relationship as a test run for the US. So something we should be paying attention to, the history of Palau. Oh, and there it is, Palauans. So the end of World War II are also reflected in the fact that hundreds of Palauan citizens serve in all branches of the U.S. Armed Forces and choose to further their education in the United States. Palau also uses the U.S. dollar as its currency, so some significant history there. So there is this theory, this idea that it could be a test net for the U.S., considering Palau and the U.S.'s strong ties. And so the reason for this, maybe there are some legal reasons because they want to trial this within the United States to Palau. Not a lot of information has been revealed here, so I'm just speculating, but it's interesting to see this considering we do know the ties that Palau has with the United States historically. And, this is kind of the first real instance where we have seen meaningful adoption of RippleNet, an entire nation that could be connected to the United States in some way, shape, or form. And so considering the US is essentially the only country without XRP clarity, why would they want to change the name of the existing protocol unless it was for legal reasons? And so this is where the speculation starts. Wrath of Kahneman saying, they want to make a distinction between RippleNet and the XRPL. We don't know. It has not been revealed. Nevertheless, interesting news there. Wanted to thank the Wrath of Kahneman for pointing that out. We've also got this guy's from XRP Crypto Wolf, JP Morgan executive, says crypto is still in its Napster days. So this just speaking to the broader market. And, I talked a little bit this morning about Bitcoin, and, there's more evidence, mounting evidence day to day, suggesting that maybe this isn't the end for cryptocurrency in terms of, in terms of the 4-year cycle, I mean. Maybe we are going to see more price accumulation in 2022. Of course, all of us are still expecting our altcoins to rally. So I think, if you hold altcoins, you're probably veering towards that side of it. I did a video where I talked a little bit about this morning, and I will link that video up here in the top right-hand corner if you guys did not catch it. Well, here's what JP Morgan's exec says. This is coming from Umar Farouk. He is the head of JP Morgan's blockchain unit. He says cryptocurrency is still in its nascency phase. Farouk recalled how peer-to-peer file sharing services like Napster were all the rage in the late 90s and early 2000s, if you guys remember, if you guys were around for that, despite being clunky. It allows users to connect directly to each other in order to share millions of songs for free. And at the time, people were sharing Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears. Drowning in cash, labels were either too complacent to see the emerging digital revolution or failed to adapt quickly. So that was one of the big downfalls of the music industry. They refused to adapt, and so what happened was technology took over. In February of 2001, however, Napster reached an estimated 80 million users before it was forced to shut down, following the ruling in a benchmark copyright lawsuit filed by heavy metal band Metallica. And I know Metallica was getting a lot of grief at that point in time. I remember I had friends that were Metallica fans that said, well, I can't stand Metallica now that they are going up against big tech. Boy, how times have changed. You know, a teenage me at that time would have probably thought the same thing, but being older and a little wiser, I see why Metallica was doing this, and for very, very good reasons, trying to protect their industry. But I mean, we can't stop innovation, and I think the music industry kind of mucked it up a little bit. There's got to be a better way so that artists can be paid. I know I've got a little bit of a soft spot for artists. I am a filmmaker myself, working currently on a project. I know I've talked about that on this channel. But anyway, just back to this point here and relating Napster to cryptocurrency, we are sitting in the Napster age. We just don't know what Spotify looks like. So I think crypto is here to stay. I just don't know in what shape or form. So what he's doing is he's creating a comparison. Farouk, the JP Morgan exec, he says that crypto is not going away, but he struggles to predict how it will look in its Spotify era. And so guys, this is exactly why I say do not ever sell all of your cryptocurrency. I know it might seem like a good idea today, but if we are in the Napster age, what changed the music industry? It was the advent of the iPod, the portable MP3 playing device. That essentially changed the world. We used to walk around with Discmans and Walkmans with physical media, okay? And we'd only be able to carry like maybe 2 or 3 CDs with us if we had a bag or whatever. And you could switch your CDs in your Discman and you'd have to listen to that entire CD. Well, iPods really changed that for the music industry. And although the iPod was introduced in 2001, what really gave it its leg up and a boost was the iTunes Store. The iTunes Store, which was introduced in mid-2003, definitely changed the game for the music industry. iPod sales, of course, sales from iTunes. And just to put things into perspective for you guys, this is the Apple stock chart on the weekly. If we go all the way back to 2003, that was at the end of the dot-com bubble burst. This was 2003. The iPod was introduced, and look at what Apple has done since. So that was essentially the bottom. Apple stock has just gone up since then, of course, for many different reasons. But the iPod, definitely a catalyst for that. So just to this point here, cryptocurrency is in its Napster age. That's why I say never ever cash out of all of it. I've got a cash out plan here, guys. I talk about this. It is linked in the description of the video. You can essentially put in the cryptocurrencies that you hold. You can manually type these in, and it will spit out different values here. If you decide to keep 55, for example, 55% of your cryptocurrency, that means you'd be keeping this much. You would be cashing out this much. And if you put in your targets, of course, these are all manual, so you can decide what target you want to sell at. It would give you the total in USD of how much you would be holding. I also wanted to quickly mention that Carrie from App Labs has also created the Cash Out Plan app, so you guys can have that spreadsheet on an application for iPhone and for Android as well. I will leave these links in the description of the video for you guys. Just thought I'd bring this up for Carrie. He's done a great job doing this, and for those of you guys who might want to tip Carrie some XRP, here is his address. I do not make any money from this. This is all his brainchild, so tip him some XRP if you guys are going to download the app. You know, he's a great guy, created this great resource, created one both for iPhone and Android, so to cover the gamut there. Anyway, interesting to put that into perspective. Of course, we also have other companies looking into other cryptocurrencies. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I don't usually talk about Solana on this channel, but I wanted to bring this up. This coming from Michael at Val5 Links. The Bank of America, which is a Ripple partner also, let's not forget, has high hopes for Solana. Now, The reason I bring up Solana, and I think I'm going to start talking a little more about these World Economic Forum coins in the future, because I think the coins with utility, the coins that the world is going to adopt, these are going to be some of the most important cryptocurrencies moving forward. You know, the 99% that they say are going to fall by the wayside? I do not want to be invested in those coins. So, you know, from this paper, from the World Economic Forum, they do mention Solana, and now Ripple partner Bank of America is also acknowledging Solana. Solana has caught the attention of Bank of America. In a recent statement, the financial giant stated that it feels Solana has what it takes to become the Visa of the cryptocurrency space. So in this article, it talks a little bit about price, but with regards to discussing Solana, here's what a CEO said in a statement. Its ability to provide high throughput, low cost, and ease of use creates a blockchain optimized for customer use cases like micropayments, DeFi, NFTs, decentralized networks, or Web3, and gaming. Right now, the Solana blockchain hosts more than 400 successful DeFi projects. In addition, the chain features some of the industry's fastest transaction speeds. These innovations allow for the processing of an industry-leading 65,000 transactions per second, with average transaction fees of about 0.00025 of a penny, while remaining relatively decentralized and secure. And just with regards to the scalability, here are some of the downsides, I suppose. Solana, well, I guess this is not a downside, but it's something to think about. Solana prioritizes scalability, but a relatively less decentralized and secure blockchain has trade-offs, illustrated by several network performance issues since inception. Ethereum, however, prioritizes decentralization and security, but at the expense of scalability, which has led to periods of network congestion and transaction fees that are occasionally larger than the value of the transaction being sent. So Solana, many different advantages, however, less decentralized, some may say. I'm personally, I gotta tell you guys, I'm still learning about Solana myself, so hopefully I will be able to bring you guys more information about this. It is interesting to see this though. Industry-leading cryptocurrency, 65,000 transactions per second, and sounds like it could be a competitor to the XRPL. However, at the same time, we know Cokes and Pepsis and Nikes and Adidas, they can all survive together. And if you had stock in Coke and Pepsi from the beginning, you would be doing all right. XRP is also mentioned on this World Economic Forum list, along with Solana. So something to be paying attention to. Again, guys, the cryptocurrency that solve problems are going to be the ones that thrive in the future. And if you do not sell all of your cryptocurrency, you will come out of this very, very wealthy. That's my prediction. So interesting news there. Wanted to thank Michael just for bringing that up. Back to Ripple though, and the UK Digital Pound Foundation. You guys remember this news from a couple of months ago, why Ripple partnered with the Digital Pound Foundation to develop CBDCs in the UK? We're gonna touch on that in a second, but I wanted to mention this from BondCrypt XRP. So the House of Lords Committee says that the UK Digital Pound is a solution in search of a problem. Here's what they're saying, and so this is a bit of a change up for what the narrative has been thus far. The case for a digital pound is weak, says a parliamentary committee convened to look at the introduction of a retail central bank digital currency. The Economic Affairs Committee, made up of lords and baronesses, cited concerns over financial stability, surveillance, and data protection, determining that a UK CBDC is a solution in search of a problem. So essentially what they're saying is, why do we even need a CBDC? So it sounds to me like they are catching on to something, perhaps the World Economic Forum's agenda. The Great Reset Committee Chair Lord Forsyth of Drumlane said a UK CBDC would have far-reaching consequences, and any potential benefits were overstated or achievable through less risky alternatives. But the report says the long lead time involved in scoping and developing a CBDC means the CBDC Joint Task Force, which was launched in April of 2020, should continue to assess the rationale and technology in preparation for such a measure being needed in the future. They're also calling this, unconventional forms of money, and saying that this committee drew attention to the risks of surveillance that the implementation of a CBDC would have. So they know exactly what is going on with the CBDC implementation and how governments can and probably will control their people if people do decide to accept a central bank digital currency. They also say down here, additionally, during periods of economic instability, people may withdraw funds from legacy financial services companies and deposit money into CBDC wallets. Without limits, this run on the banks could exacerbate whatever financial crisis is developing at the time. So this was just also a statement from the committee. These wallets themselves could also be targeted by hackers, so on and so forth. So they're foreseeing many different problems with a CBDC. I mean, we know why the World Economic Forum wants to push along CBDCs and how governments can have more control over this. This is part of that Great Reset agenda, being able to control the public at every turn. So why did Ripple partner with the Digital Pound Foundation, of course, to help them develop CBDCs? Let's just go over this just to recap. So created as a nonprofit, the UK Digital Pound Foundation and Ripple will design and develop the CBDC. The Post claims the country has been encouraging responsible innovation in the crypto industry. Thus, the implementation of a CBDC is the logical outgrowths of that work. Ripple's head of policy commented the following on their newest partnership, and here's the quote: "We are excited to support the design and implementation of a digital pound in partnership with the Digital Pound Foundation. The foundation will help advance the UK's goal to build a more inclusive and sustainable financial system." So that was their position a couple of months ago. Fast forward, and now we have the Economic Affairs Committee in the UK saying, whoa, we do not need a CBDC. So how does this affect Ripple, if at all? Well, luckily, Ripple has an ace in their back pocket, because even if they do not help with the development of a CBDC in the UK, they also have their signature product, or RippleNet, which can and will provide liquidity whether or not a CBDC is developed in the UK. And that is the beauty of RippleNet. It can provide liquidity for anything, fiat currency, even if it is not in the form of a central bank digital currency. And XRP will provide that liquidity regardless. So it's interesting, though, that this organization being very critical of the CBDC plans that Ripple has definitely been a part of. And so Ripple is on this committee, even if they don't go through with the CBDC. And I mean, you know, it is looking like more governments around the world, I mean, it is happening slowly, but they are losing interest, or they are maybe having second thoughts about going through with this nefarious plan. I am seeing inclinations of this. If you guys are into that whole thing, please do mention it in the comments if you do have an opinion. Governments are changing their mind. CBDCs, will they be implemented in that capacity? Will they get rid of fiat right away? Will it be phased in over time? Let's not forget too, guys, that Ripple is part of the World Economic Forum. This was that PDF document from June of 2021, just mentioning the XRPL and XRP for transactions. But a few months later, Navigating Cryptocurrency Regulation, another paper put out by the World Economic Forum. Scrolling right down to the bottom here, you guys can see who one of the guest authors was, the co-authors, right down here, Brad Garlinghouse, Chief Executive Officer at Ripple. So definitely a vested interest. Nevertheless, even if a CBDC implementation plan fails in the UK has already deemed XRP a currency, and Ripple is already partnered with the Bank of England. And so it does not affect XRP hodlers one bit. XRP will still be utilized whether we have a CBDC or not, or whether some countries have some, other countries don't. It won't matter, and that's the beauty of XRP. It can and will source liquidity for many different types of assets. For example, gold to fiat, or fiat to real estate, or real estate to stocks. It really doesn't matter. So I'm going to keep paying attention to the coins that have a future. Of course, we still have not seen that big breakdown for Bitcoin, and alts have still not rallied. So in my opinion, that means more room for price accumulation throughout 2022 and perhaps beyond, guys. That's my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.